It is time to finish up the 2024 edition of Championship Cases. We do this for all 16 drivers. We've already done 13, and I'm going to rapid fire these last three. All three videos coming this afternoon. But today, we do this for the last time for a Stewart-Haas Racing car. Chase Briscoe just won the Southern 500. Briscoe on the season, as I said, has that one win at the Southern 500, 3 top 5s, 7 top 10s on the season. Led 43 laps on the year, with I think 29 of those coming this past weekend at the Southern 500. Now I am going to be looking off screen a bit. As you can see, it's not my normal setup. I'm in between races right now. It's just at Darlington. Plan on going to Atlanta this upcoming weekend. And so we're going to talk about the playoffs. I'm going to do my playoff preview tomorrow, so you have that to look forward to, my full 2024 NASCAR Cup Series playoff preview. We'll do Chase Briscoe right now here in an hour, 2 hours, however long it takes me. We'll do Ty Gibbs, and then the final one will be Martin Truex Jr. But the final ever championship case for a Stewart-Haas Racing car, Chase Briscoe. It's going to be an emotional ride for Chase Briscoe, for the 14 team, the history at Stewart-Haas Racing with that car number, of course, with Chase Briscoe being at SHR so long. He comes into this playoffs as the number 13 seed. He only has the 5 playoff points. As I said, with everyone, get as many points as you can, but he is currently below the cutoff line, but he's only 0.0 points behind. So that's good, I guess. But it's going to be, you're going to have to scratch and claw your way out of these first couple of rounds. Now, his Atlanta stats, they aren't great. He has the best finish of 15th, and that was in March of 22 and July of 21, so even at the old Atlanta. And it's going to be an unpredictable race on Sunday. The playoffs at 2 super speedways, 2 road courses. But for a lower seed, for a guy who is running 18th to 20th in the points most of the year, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to take advantage of some of the higher seeds that have issues, that get in crashes. Some of the guys who are expected to make it out of this first round. It's expected that an underdog could potentially win that race or run well enough in that race to get a good points gap, have a good points day. As for Watkins Glen, Chase Briscoe's had some good runs at road courses in his career, but he hasn't had a top 10 since the Indy road course in 2023, so he's been on a little bit of a cold streak, 35th, 28th, 13th, and 34th since then. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a tough stretch, but he is a good driver. He is good at road courses. And Watkins Glen, he is a top 10 in 2021, but since then it hasn't been great. But maybe with the higher wearing tire that is expected to be there, maybe it could be more of a wild card. He could get something out of it. And Chase Briscoe, for some reason, he always wins a stage at a road course. Ever since they do the stage cautions at the end of road courses, when they throw that caution and you stay out, I feel like it's always Briscoe winning a stage. So I think if he can collect some stage points there, get a manageable finish, a top 15, that's going to be a huge help. And then going to Bristol, he finished 13th there in the spring. His worst finish is 27th. Other than that, he has a 13th and a 14th outside of that 13th in the spring. He has scored stage points before in 2022 with a 4th and a 3rd in those stages. So I think he can get out of this round realistically. He can't afford mistakes, but if he can top 10, top 15 all 3 of these races, he'll get through. Now for the second round, Kansas, Talladega, and the Roval. Kansas numbers aren't great. He's never scored a stage point at Kansas, and that's a bit of a concern. His best finish is 13th back in September of 2022. So yeah, let's just go to Talladega. Super speedways. As I said, Stewart-Haas Racing's been good at them in the past couple of years despite their struggles. And Chase Briscoe, in fact, only has one finish worse than 13th or 14th. Sorry. He has a top 5 back in the spring of 2023. He has multiple top 10s. He's got an 11th, a 12th, a 13th. Chase Briscoe at Talladega, he knows how to finish these races. Sometimes at Talladega, that's what it comes down to. So he may just need to do that. Then we go to the Roval once again, another road course. He does have a top 10 back in October of 2022, where he finished 9th in that race, scored stage points. This second round is a little bit of a concern for me, I will say. But I think, realistically, if he were to get out of this round, if he can top 15 Kansas, Top 5 Talladega with some stage points. Stage points at Roval and get a top 15. I think he can squeak out of this round. Then we go to the final 4, or the round of 8, to get to the final 4. It's going to be a must-win. Anyone with less than 10 points, I think it's going to be a must-win for him. Larson has 40. Bell has 32. Reddick has 28. And then even, Byron has 20 or so. Elliott has 15, 18, somewhere in that range. So you're going to be at a massive disadvantage points-wise. In Vegas, he's got a top 5 there, so I'm not looking at that race because he only has the one. Homestead, 18th, 36th, and 17th. But then you go to Martinsville, and it's extremely encouraging because remember, back in the spring of 23, Ryan Preece won the pole there, and he led a bunch of laps there. Briscoe's led laps at Martinsville before. In fact, he led 109 laps in that spring 2023 race, and in fact, he has 5 straight top 10s at Martinsville, including a couple of top 5s in there. A lot of stage points in there. As I said, I don't think stage points are going to matter at this point. I think he has to win, but I'm not ruling out Chase Briscoe to win at Martinsville. It's a legit possibility. If they can go on a crazy run, make it to the round of 8 like they did in 2022, they're going to have a shot to win at Martinsville, and they're going to have to win at Martinsville. And with the emotions of it being Stewart-Haas Racing's last season, Chase Briscoe going to JGR next year, and trying to just give him one last shot at the championship, who's to say? Ford's great at short tracks. Ford is great at flat tracks. Martinsville's great for SHR. It's a legit possibility, but first, he has to get to the round of 8. But if he gets there winning Martinsville, it's possible. And then we go to Phoenix, and we know Chase Briscoe's history at Phoenix. He has a win there back in the spring of 2022. Once again, it's a flat Ford oval, 1 mile track. He's got multiple top 5s. He's got a couple of top 10s. In fact, he's finished top 10 in 4 of the last 5 races there, despite Stewart-Haas Racing's struggles. So Chase Briscoe, the first 2 rounds are my concern. With the super speedways and the road courses, it's going to be a little difficult. But if he gets to that round of 8, you're going to have to win, but Martinsville's a great opportunity. If you get to that final 4, who knows what's going to happen. So that's it. That is the last ever championship case I'll make for a Stewart-Haas Racing driver, a Stewart-Haas Racing team. Chase Briscoe, can he go on a 2011 Tony Stewart hot streak that we saw and win the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series championship? Later this afternoon, we'll do Ty Gibbs and Martin Truex Jr. For now, I'm going to finish up Briscoe, move on to those 2, but let me know what your thoughts are. I'll add this to the playlist. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. And the other playlist from last week in Darlington, go check that out as well. I appreciate all your support.